Blossom, just to be clear, would you want the American Olympics, the LA Olympics, would you want them to be gender neutral, where the sexes compete with each other?
Absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think
do you also believe, Blossom, that we should combine the Paralympics and the Olympics?
I mean, why not? And to go back to Riley's point, to that last point.
You are completely insane.
Oh my
go back to that last point.
People like Blossom are exactly why Donald Trump won on November 5th. I believe...
Girl, please.
So I'm 99% sure most of you know who NCAA swimmer Riley Gaines is and her whole fight in keeping men out of women's sports. But I don't know how much you know about the flack that she got because of it. Because in using her voice, you can imagine she'd garner hate from the mentally deranged activists who think she's a bigot. And it wasn't just hate online, she actually got physically attacked.
This way. Yeah, you it's just me. I'm good. I'm good. I'm coming. I'm good. Trans rights are human rights. You crying? You crying? That's you. You. Trans rights are human rights. Trans rights are human rights.
And regarding this incident, Riley actually said, "At San Francisco State U, I was ambushed and physically hit twice by a man. This is proof that women need sex-protected spaces. Still only further assures me I'm doing something right. When they want you silent, speak louder." And in fact, stuff like this didn't stop her at all. She kept speaking out and it made her bolder. As an example, later she was protested by a bunch of lunatics in Milwaukee.
Hey, you, Riley! You, Riley! You, Riley! You, Riley! You, Riley!
To which she sarcastically said on X, "Shiver me timbers, I'm so scared." This girl is such a savage, I love it. But yeah, her voice gave so much hope to young girls who are aspiring athletes, as evidenced by the fact that so many girls were rejoicing when Trump signed an executive order ending men and women's sports. And Trump even recognized Riley's work.
We're honored to be joined today by many incredible advocates for women's sports, including the brave swimmer at the forefront of this battle. And Riley Gaines is a person that I've been watching. Fought hard. Riley was a 12-time All-American. Well, that's pretty good. 12-time All-American who sacrificed countless hours in the pool just for a chance at the title. Gave everything she had. But then the league forced her to share a spot on the podium with a male swimmer who took her trophy while the media celebrated this stolen glory. And Riley is just a tremendous athlete, and it was a very unfair situation. It was ridiculous, frankly. But I want to thank Riley. She really has been in the forefront. And great job, Riley. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And Riley, of course, was happy.
It's a total contrast with the treatment that we as women have received for the past 4 years. Me personally, fighting for this issue the past 3 years, I'm just overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude. I have to kind of pinch myself that this is something that is necessary we have to do, that a president has to take time out of his busy schedule to sign an executive order saying that men cannot compete in women's sports. I just think of our founding fathers. But nonetheless, it is a big win. It is certainly a win worth celebrating, but we're not done.
And she definitely was not done, and one person who wasn't done with her was biological man who identifies as a woman, Blossom, who I covered in the previous video for debating Michael Knowles on Jubilee, and was so insufferable because all Blossom could do was tell Michael that he doesn't have lived experience, and because he's a cis white man, his position isn't worth giving the time of day. On the flip side, Michael Knowles just found the whole thing funny, as he should, and I said then that it's kind of ironic that his name is Blossom because the way that they conducted themselves, they're not blossoming into a very good human being. And by the way, I stand by calling Blossom he because I try to respect people's pronouns if it doesn't make a difference to me. But after the debate with Michael Knowles, it's very clear that Blossom is one self-centered person. So yeah, but anyways, after Blossom went viral on Jubilee for his very ungraceful performance, he for some reason then went on Piers Morgan and very immediately antagonized Riley.
You know, Riley, I think you're just trying to make it seem like that trans people are a threat to cis women in the restroom, and that's not the case. Trans women are not a threat to cis women.
Okay, but here's the look. But Blossom. Hang on.
And you're going to have to specifically tell me cases. Can you specifically tell me cases of where trans women have hurt cis women in the restroom? I'd like to know that, please.
Okay, first of all, let's imagine a world where biological men who are allowed in women's locker rooms, restrooms, so on and so forth, never actually harmed women. Even if that were the case and women did not have their physical safety to fear, there's still the emotional safety piece. Those private spaces are some of the few places in which they can truly be themselves. And people like Blossom want to take that away so he can feel emotionally safe. But as we've seen before, women have in fact been harmed by biological men in these safe spaces, which you can easily find instances of that happening. To say that hasn't happened and thinking that asking them to name one incident is a gotcha moment for him shows how self-centered, egotistical, and out of touch he truly is.
We don't use words like cis on here because no one understands it. Let's just.
Well, I use cisgender, so that's where I'm
sure
come from.
You do,
that's
nobody,
what I like to use. That's in my vocabulary.
Yeah, but nobody else understands it. That's my question for you, which you haven't.
Just because you don't understand, you just don't have the intellectual capacity. Piers. You don't have the intellectual capacity to understand the terminology that I'm using.
Blossom, you're appearing on a show called Piers Morgan Uncensored. That means you can say whatever you want.
I know all about you, Piers.
Okay.
And I know how you're good at race baiting. I know how you're good at being transphobic, and that's why I'm here to face you.
Just to be clear,
face you one-on-one.
When do you think I've ever race baited?
Honey, you remember that whole incident with Sharon Osbourne?
Yes.
Let's not forget.
Oh, you know, I do. I do.
But we're not here to talk about Miss Sharon Osbourne.
No. What do you think happened there?
We're not here to talk about Miss Sharon Osbourne.
Yes,
we're here to talk about trans people in sports.
Hang on, you've raised.
You are notorious.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's have a conversation. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the Sharon Osbourne thing. Since you've raised it.
I'm a black trans woman.
Blossom, stop talking for a moment.
You have cut me off so many times since I've been here.
Okay,
but
Blossom,
Riley, you give
can we have a conversation, please?
You give the white girl all the time to talk.
Can we have a conversation, please?
And the black girl is having to speak.
Actually, at the moment, the black girl is doing all the talking. So hang on. Can I just say
one thing I'm going to say is Blossom is the perfect embodiment of what's wrong with people these days. It's not because of their gender identity that I say this. He accuses Piers of race baiting, and then when he simply asks you to explain how he race baited, they resorted to deflecting, saying that's not what we're here to talk about. Then weaponizing his identity as a supposed trans black woman, then ironically claiming that Piers is cutting her off when he's in fact talking over everyone. Then saying, oh, you give the white girl a chance to speak, but me none. Like, who's actually doing the race baiting? All I hear is projection on Blossom's part. And Riley is having fun with this, just smiling and laughing through it all, which to me is funny, but it's also very endearing to see her in good spirits considering all the crap she's gone through for speaking her truth.
Why do we separate the sexes in the Olympics? Why do we have men and women competing separately? Give me an answer.
Well, Piers, won't you tell me the answer since I don't know?
You don't know the answer? Oh, Riley's got a hand up. Riley, why don't you educate Blossom?
Tell me the answer since I don't know.
Riley, why do we separate the sexes in the Olympics?
Because men and women are different. We have different physical ceilings. It's the same reason why you have any category. It's the same reason why we have the Paralympics versus the Olympics. It's the same reason why we have weight classes in boxing. We know the outcome. Every single person, kindergartners, know the outcome of what would happen if we had a 220-pound man fight a 170-pound man, or
she doesn't know that. What if that 220-pound? Wait. What if that 170-pound man has the agility to beat that 220-pound man? That makes no sense. So you want to base all of the Olympics off of exceptions? Your answer makes no sense. Y'all don't know anything about somebody's biochemistry.
It makes sense
biology. You do not know.
Of common sense.
You do not know, Riley. I'm sorry. You absolutely do not know about somebody's biology.
You just admitted you're not an athlete. You admitted that you have never competed at the highest level.
And see, this is the thing. I don't have to be an athlete to talk about this because this affects my community. But you just said you couldn't answer because you're not Olympic.
All right, can we please stop talking at the same time? If you talk at the same time, Blossom, if you talk at the same time, nobody can hear either of you. Okay? So Blossom, a simple question. I'll tell you why they separate the sexes, just as Riley has. It's because men have a physical advantage over women, which would mean that women would not win more than a handful of medals in the entire Olympics. Would you be happy if it was a gender-neutral Olympics?
Why are we...
Hang on.
Women, though.
Answer my question.
Women are just as strong as men.
So let me get this straight, or gay or something. Because Blossom is trans, he's more qualified to speak on someone's biology. However, someone who's a biological woman does not understand her own biology. I don't even know what you would call this. Mansplaining, transplaining. Bottom line, it's so goddamn ridiculous. And I wish someone would just give Blossom a bitter taste of his own medicine and tell him he he doesn't have the lived experience to say anything that he's saying. Which obviously everyone has a perspective and people don't deserve to be invalidated, but in cases like this, he's lost any credibility to talk about any of this. Especially to say women are just as strong as men, like Blossom wouldn't know that because he has the testosterone that women don't. Most normal people understand they're not in a position to spout off on things like this, but with Blossom's ego, he thinks he knows everything there is about biology.
Blossom, just to be clear, would you want the American Olympics, the LA Olympics, would you want them to be gender neutral, where the sexes compete with each other?
Absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with it. I think long as
do you also believe
it's completely insane?
Men and non-binary people,
also believe
then yes,
that we should
why not?
It's completely insane.
This country was built on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And
exactly. This is why that's so nuts.
That does include cis women like.
And you know what you would do?
Hello?
You would exclude all women from winning medals.
There are some cis women that have natural higher testosterone levels than trans women. That's why some of them may look more masculine. Iman Khalif had to experience that transphobia, which, by the way, transphobia affects all women. And now that Trump has excluded trans women from playing in sports, all women are going to be subjected to rigorous tests to make sure that they're not trans. And that does include cis women. You could potentially be subjected to these rigorous tests because Donald Trump took his peanut head, red, orange behind and signed an executive order that he doesn't even know anything about. He's a convicted felon, 34 felonies, right? We also need to be focusing on letting convicted felons in this country vote since we elected a convicted felon. There's so much more work. The economy is tanking here in America.
All right, Riley?
Okay, first of all, he didn't ban trans women from all sports, just women's sports, and so what? Dude has no idea what the hell he's talking about, and then also goes into Donald Trump's 34 felony convictions, which don't get me started on my opinion on that. But either way, on one hand, Blossom goes on making a stink because people don't agree with him on all this gender inclusivity crap, but then claims we have more pressing issues to focus on. If it's not pressing, then why are you debating everybody on this? Why do you feel the need to invalidate other people's opinions? Like, which one is it? The cognitive dissonance is so freaking astounding.
Okay.
Why is Trump focused so much on trans people?
I'll tell you why. Because he's up at. I'll tell you why, Blossom.
I'm a woman.
Hang on, Riley. Hang on, Blossom. Here's why. Because he's up against complete lunatics like you who think it would be right to have a gender-neutral Olympics.
Yep, here's the start of the meltdown. You get called a lunatic for your insane opinions once after you went time and time and again insulting Piers and antagonizing Riley. Yep, summarizes woke activists like Blossom pretty well.
A gender-neutral Olympics is the most insane thing I've ever heard from any trans activist in history. Riley.
People like Blossom are exactly why Donald Trump won on November 5th. People, I believe...
Oh, girl, please. Donald Trump rigged the election, which is why he's sitting in office now.
Can we mute? This is the most ridiculous
mute Blossom, please, because she can't stop talking.
People turned out, I believe, in masses to the polls on November 5th to embrace Donald Trump, to embrace the America First agenda, to embrace his cabinet picks. But more so, I believe people turned out to the polls to reject absurdity. And that is exactly what the past 30 minutes have been on this program, Piers, is totally, entirely, and thoroughly absurd from top to bottom. Saying there should be a gender-neutral Olympics?
I know.
Are you serious?
Madness.
Do you also believe, Blossom, that we should combine the Paralympics and the Olympics?
Okay, I'll ask her. Bring back Blossom. Blossom, should we combine the Paralympics with the regular Olympics? Have them all compete with each other?
I mean, why not? And to go back to Riley's point to
why
that
not?
last point.
You are completely insane.
Go back to that last point.
Yeah.
No,
So
because
no
she
Paralympian will win a medal.
that I wanted to respond to.
So no Paralympian will win a medal. So your diversity, equity, and inclusion
people
turns out to be unequal and doesn't include any Paralympian or any woman.
People went to the polls because they want prices to come down. People went to the polls.
You know why they voted for Trump? Because people like you have turned this debate into a total farce.
Donald Trump rigged that election. Donald Trump does not even have the capacity to even run this country.
Mute Blossom one more time because I want to thank Riley. Thank you, Blossom.
Okay, sidebar right quick. The idiot is still trying to talk even when he's muted. It kind of reminds me of those sign language interpreters.
Riley, thank you for engaging in this in the best way you could have done. I think when we have somebody who, with a straight face, says that the answer to this debate is that we have a gender-neutral Olympics and we allow Paralympics and the Olympics to morph into one event, and says this is about DIE, when in fact what it does, it removes any equality for Paralympians or women, so no disabled people competing would ever win, and then women wouldn't win either more than about 2 or 3 medals because we all know that's why they separate the sexes. If that is DIE at work. That is why DIE has been a travesty. DEI, I'm sorry. It would be a travesty.
Yeah, another sidebar. If this form of DEI continued with there being no separation in sports, people would DIE. So Piers was kind of right in what he said the first time.
So, Riley, thank you. Congratulations on getting this over the line. Hopefully it will bring some sanity and equality and inclusion back to sport, which is what we want. Bring back Blossom.
I just can't get over that he said he's rooted in reality. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, but Blossom,
girl, shut your butt up and advocate.
No, Blossom, you realize you make every single trans person, every single trans activist look bad.
You do,
every single one of them.
You know what?
You make them all
I
look
represent
terrible.
myself. I represent myself, and what I'm doing is facing off with fascist and racist on live air, and I'm okay with that.
Fascist, racist, and transphobe. I can say, Blossom, I do want to congratulate you. Seriously, Blossom, you have been, without a shadow of a doubt, the maddest trans activist I've ever had on the show. Congratulations.
Oh!
Riley, thank you very much. Thank you, Blossom.
Coming from you, that's a compliment.
That's it. I'm going to go and have a cold shower and calm down.
Yep, that's exactly how I felt listening to Blossom spew his garbage. And again, Riley Gaines is a boss, and shows that sometimes to get what you want, you have to stand on business. But guys, I want to thank you all for watching as always, and if you appreciate my commentary, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to this channel, hopefully I've earned a subscription. Here's some more videos for you to watch in the meantime. Until next time, peace out.